in these conferences, they have hospitality suites where the journalists all gather and play games and play poker and drink. And it started out with me arrogantly bringing a bottle of my favorite top shelf whiskey. I didn't want their cheap whiskey. I brought my own. I'm shooting my mouth off. I'm flirting with a married woman who's at the card table with me. I'm just acting in such an obnoxious way that this is what happened. There was the managing editor of the Dallas Morning News, the largest paper in Texas. Every year at this conference, ran a poker game in the hospitality suite for 25 or 30 years. He would deal. I sat at the table to play that game. I was so obnoxious in the way I acted, from my arrogance about the whiskey I was drinking to the way I was treating people who were there, that Jack Welch was his name, the Emmy of the Dallas Morning News, got up, took his cards, and left the poker table. I drove away the founder of Texas journalism's. He was a dean of Texas journalism, and I drove away the founder of like the most fun thing about the Associated Press managing editors conference in Texas. I drove him away from the table. I knew when I got back to the office that was going to get back there. People still talk about this in the state of Texas 25 years after it happened. And I knew that was going to happen. That was going to come back, and that was probably going to be the end of my journalism career in Wichita Falls. So I went back to my hotel room, and this is the important part of the story um, that really pushed me over the line and helped me see I had a problem. And that was many was the time when I was drinking and I was depressed. Remember, you talk about, I said, what makes you an alcoholic is why you drink. You try to get happy. It doesn't always work. The more you do it, the less it works. And it wasn't working for several years up until that point. Um, and there were many times I would call friends. I would call friends in the middle of the night. We used to call it dialing while intoxicated, DWI. I would call friends up in the middle of the night and I'd say, "Oh, my life is terrible. I'm going to kill myself." I would say that. Now, one of the things, usually speaking, when you say that, it's a cry for help, is the general consensus. But I remember lying in my bed in the hotel in Corpus Christi, Texas that night, knowing I'd just blown up my journalism career, thinking that I wanted to end my life, but not calling anybody, just sitting, lying in my bed. And that scared me deeply.